6:24 on Sunday morning, a New York born started yawning. Stacy's first child, no, he's smoking over mouth. Baby came out the womb with a gas smile. Say cheese, Dad knew I was heaven sent. Godparents nicknamed me Mr. President. Queen's legend, yeah, that's major. As Pop met the mayor, chicken newspaper, it's dead. Sincerely. Fast forward to age 8, where this part of the story. These give me so many nights I couldn't sleep. Yet it made me so unique.
All right. Welcome to the Presidential Essential Podcast, a platform dedicated to engaging in meaningful conversations with individuals from various walks of life. Here we explore valuable insights on life challenges and the transformative stories that has shaped their journeys. Remember, it's nothing political, everything spiritual. Today, we will discuss the concept of time. It is one of life's most valuable and finite asset, yet is often misused and taken for granted. Unlike material possessions, lost time can never be regained, making it thoughtful, used critical to personal and professional fulfillment. When individuals approach time with intentionality and purpose, they unlock their potential to achieve remarkable accomplishments and lead more meaningful lives. Joining me is Dr. Chris Landon. Has a huge background in helping children, nonprofit, and of course as a doctor, as I mentioned. Please welcome my guest, my amazing friend, Dr. Chris Landon. Can you tell us a bit about yourself and the importance?
Well, thanks for giving me this opportunity. Really,
time to you.
Well, I've followed you for a long time, and your drive and your vision and your spirituality and your Christianity. So, what's time to me? Well, I'm in a different part of my time. There's certainly less in front of me and more behind me, which gives me lots of experiences. I think every day. Well, Steve Jobs didn't have it quite right. He'd wake up every day and say, okay, if I die today, is this day been done? Well, I don't really do that anymore. What I do is I sit down and I go through the tasks. I write them down and make sure I can cross them out. So it's just, how I organize my life. But I also, when I chew my food, I think about the wheat, growing the field, the sun coming down, the water, what it's like to be a wheat plant. And I chew every bite 100 times. And it's just really, trying to enjoy every moment that way. I have call them girlfriends at my age. My life partner is in Thailand, and she's been over there for some 40 years. We met around working with autism and Down syndrome adults. And we're at that point of our lives. She came to stay with me for 2 months from Thailand, and we looked at every sunrise, every single one. And so you feel the sun comes up. It's the closest star to us.
That's beautiful.
We are stardust. And we talk about our day before or what had occurred. And when she'd go off and do yoga, and really, what her body holds is the deaths of hundreds of people, of children and adults, and working in prisons and working in Cambodia and the camps there, working in Bangkok. So her body holds that, and she takes that in yoga and learns how to release that pain from her body. Wow. For me, I go in the garden, and so I'll plant trees. I'll go, this is a fruit tree. I may never get to eat the fruit from this tree, but some child is going to take that pear.
So, Doc, let me ask you a question. How did your perspective on time change as you've grown older?
Well, I think what you really feel is with your parents and the passing of your parents. You realize what every day is to them and how important you are in that day for them.
Wow. Okay.
When you go to visit, and just how you feel angry at them. How can you not be able to get out of that chair? How can you not be able to walk across the street or it takes so long? And then you go, I'm there now too. So I get up a little slower, and I do my best to not be old. But and then I have a garage full of 4 generations of things that you just don't need.
Wow.
And so to have a giant garage sale, I bring the Goodwill, I bring the Mistake project, I bring them to my office to give to children, stop by a house of mom has 5 autistic kids. And,
wow.
So we want to give back. But also and let loose. This is the Swedish call it death cleaning, and so for my daughter, I don't want her to have to go through what I'm going through. I mean, I got my wife's mother, my wife's father's. I've got his book from World War II of teeny tiny little photos, and does anybody want them anymore? Am I going to throw them away? Do I keep those a lot of memories in there? And so, what's that like for me and for my daughter when that time comes? So I'm really. But I look at my closet and I see a shirt. I wear it once a year. It's a Tommy Bahama shirt, wherever my first wife had bought on a shopping spree. But it holds memories. It holds memory of my wife in there. Holds memories of whatever party that was. And if I put it on, I can feel time just drag right through.
Kind of like, I remember you had this, this was like you were art with, you were drawing on clothing, right? Talk a little bit about your that gift that you have a little.
Well, with art, I have my second wife, whose 35-year-old son really would sleep till noon, playing zombie games all night. So unfortunately it didn't work out. But we built a recording studio in the house. And when I just said, I'm done here. She took all the sound baffling which you have in the studio. Yeah. Well, now it's walls that it echoes. So I go, well, I'll start painting. So I started painting things that I saw, and I just used 3 or 4 colors at first, and then moved on. And then my friend Carlos, we did a Burning Man project, 24 feet by 14 feet in the middle of the desert. He said, Chris, there are other colors. So I just painted black and white for a while, maybe a little silver. I have a picture, I did one of your wife, just looking down her cell phone, and just that was just before she was.
That was an amazing picture, by the way. We still have that, and we have it in a very special place.
Well, we were going to go record a Christmas song. A disco Christmas. So for me, it captures time, and it was kind of an Alzheimer's thing. I could look at that picture and be in that time. And so I've interviewed. We had a concert with Michael McDonald and all of his friends, Bill Champlin and the like. And so I did it from backstage, and the energy from there, and then the front of the house, and then the energy from there, and the practice. Yes.
If you could go back in time, how would you have spent your days differently?
Yeah. I don't know that I would have. I think probably just working too hard. That as I built up I started the Pediatric Diagnostic Center in 1989, 1990. Really? And it really involved my life. And so there's parts of my daughter's life I wish I'd been, more involved in.
When you say that took part of your life, would you say like they're all like, well, you just got back late? You got home late? Or you were just there, just in...
Well, I didn't make it to soccer games. I saw maybe her play soccer 3 times, and I was so proud she got carded, because she knew exactly where the blondes were, and somehow they fall down as she's running down. So she's still a mathematician. Now she has a $250 million project rebuilding USC's baseball stadium. So rebuilding, but no doctor. Oh, what happened to my doctor? So unfortunately, she was raised by her grandfather, who put her in a little construction jacket and a hard hat and a little tool belt when she was 18 months old, and I lost her. But
man, that's
that's the time that.
So if you would say what habits or practices help you make most of your time when you learn that?
Well, I do. Well, I have so many projects going on,
Right?
and
How do you manage?
So, as you can tell from the way I speak and my stories, that I'm on the spectrum there somewhere. I mean, it's like being in Chicago train tracks. There's 100 tracks. You're going to get to that station, but you kind of wonder why we're going by there. So I have to organize, and I don't think of myself as an ADHD kind of person. I just have a lot of goals, and I have to get through them, and so I cross them out. Yes.
How would you tell people? Like, is there a platform you use? Is there a app you use? Is there or you just keep it? Write it down.
I have a 200-page ring binder, and just every day I just turn to a new page, and then when I get to the end of the book, I then write on the back of the page, and I filled those up, and I don't need to look back at them, but it helps me to see accomplishment. I like to accomplish things, and so that's I can cross it out. Today I mailed a painting that I'd done 4 years ago, and then wrote out California Children's Services application for cystic fibrosis and pulmonary center, and saw 17 patients, and participated in a noontime pediatric meeting, and brought up emergency services that I'm working down in El Salvador because they really need some help down there.
So let me get this straight. So you go into that binder, and then you don't look back at all?
No. Every day is a new set.
Wow.
Yeah. And I got carried in my
But let's say if you make those plans, you don't say, okay, what did I write down? Or you just know?
Well, I know.
Or it's more of like
like the garage. I couldn't look at that garage for 3 years, and then I go, "Oh, rain's coming. Need to get my car inside." Yeah. So then I start, making a look. Take this to Goodwill. Go through that.
I see.
That organized around what I see that day. This thing with
like in the moment.
This novella with Dusty and Chris and the Sunrises.
Mm-hmm.
I wrote that out as an outline, the arc of each character, much like you would for a television
film.
I mean, you look at you go, Lost. My God, they had so many seasons, but they brought it all together. So there's an arc of all that. And I have a friend, John Mankiewicz, who's a writer. And so I just he wrote, House. He called me for an episode because my dad had raised him from a pop. And so he said, "Oh, I've got someone who the grandfather needs to be able to, somebody know about the grandfather's music or his writing that would tell you what this granddaughter has as a disease." Wow. And I go, "Oh, okay. Well, Lincoln's knee doesn't move very well." And there's some other ended up an episode of House that he was writing. So
that's amazing.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
So just keeping friends a long time. That's part of time too.
Oh, wow. Okay.
It's not that you need to call them every day. And some people you don't see for years. But
so, how would you say you prioritize what matters most in your life? Like, how do you do that? Like, how do you prioritize what matters most?
Well, I try and divide up my day. So in the morning, work out with dumbbells because I got bad shoulders and bad knees, and so I do my yard yoga. So Dusty does whatever yoga, and I'll do my yard yoga, which is the same. So you end up in the same silly poses sometimes. And then I'll write the novella, and then I'll look at my messages, and then I'll reach out to people I haven't talked to, sometime in a year, 2 years or 3 years, and give them a call. People that I met through, we have the Intelligent Health Pavilion, which is at HIMSS in Florida. And, so I met a bunch of people there.
Wow.
And they're all, the same mind. And so I'll say, hey, I have a company. We're doing remote patient monitoring with artificial intelligence.
Nice.
And but we have some needs. Mm-hmm. And so I'll call somebody I met 10 years ago, and we had a good time, and I'll say, hey, I have this particular need to help this company succeed. need. And
would you say that, or another moment? Like, what was the best moment that you, like an example of a moment that you felt you used your time in the best possible way?
Well, I always try and use my time in the best possible way. Because I live in a physical body, and so you've been to my house, right? And so I'll walk downtown, and I can drive my car down there to the mail, the post office, but I'll walk down and I'll have a cup of coffee at wherever. And, so the being outside and breathing and feeling my feet move, and like, count my steps, because, I'm, can be a little compulsive that way. If I don't hit 5,000, I gotta get back out. But that's got to balance the physical and the mental and the emotional have to balance out.
And like, of course, now if we look at how it is in the modern day, I wouldn't say a lot of people try to go out and take a walk anymore. Everything is more technology based. Everything is more driven through electronics, right? The artificial way more than the natural. So what would you feel like in a modern sense? What are the biggest time wasters that you can tell our audience to watch out?
Oh, well, death scrolling.
Okay.
So, Facebook, gosh. And it's you get that dopamine hit, the 15 seconds of a Jeep going up a hill and falling over, or, some kid riding a bicycle or whatever, or crocodiles eating your head, or, so you get that jolt, but that's really not the way life is, I think, is supposed to be.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Occasionally death scroll myself, because it is addictive there. But yeah, we're looking. I walk behind my house, and there's a set of trails, and boy, there's not that many people walking back there anymore. The weeds are growing over, so I got to get out my little scythe and make my path, and finding people, even walking their dogs around the block. So, and with the kids, I had a group from South Korea come out. They're putting iPhone holders into strollers. I go, God, this is just wrong. So when I'm in, I
try to be. That actually struck a chord, because I try to, not like in that I'm doing, but the fact that our generation is really doing that. Because I try to be intentional, especially with my wife and I. We have the baby.
Yes,
I really say, like, this moment, or whether it's 15 minutes or 20 minutes or whatever that you have, I don't put no type of distraction. I cannot.
And what I'm hoping,
I feel like I cannot connect.
Well, I'm hoping that your generation, since it's too late for me, does revolt and knocks the phone out of their kids' hands, because they go, I grew up like that. That was the worst. I never made human connections. You need to get outside and play. Yeah. When I'm in Peru, I've got kids pushing a barrel stave with a stick, and that's their play. They had a Pepsi bottle with some gravel in it and a goldfish, and they would pass it around like it was a television set, and they would take turns watching the goldfish go back and forth. That's connecting with who we are and what we are.
That's like, we need more of those. Like, more of those.
Well, and I think
I'll say a good example of it in America that I've, like, outside of the countries that I went out, and when I was in North Carolina for some time, like, they like to play cards, like spades, or like they call the Southern hospitality, and it was an eye opening, like, to be able to see people connect where I didn't even think of a TV. I didn't even think of, we would literally just enjoy each other's company, just even by the way we talk to each other, the story. It was literally like, wow.
Well, I have friends at Harvard, and one of them retired and moved to South Carolina. And he goes in the story, you can't believe it, that woman, they just talked in front of me. I was there to get groceries, and all they did was talk. I was with him 3 months later. He's just talking away with the cashier, because that's what life is about. It's not just about counting out how much for your groceries. It's that human connection.
What what do you think people can do to avoid those distractions and focus on what truly matters?
How to unplug.
Yeah, like what would you?
Pretty scary. Yeah, I have my phone with me. I'm just counting my steps. And if I get a spam call, I'll go, doctor's emergency line, then I know who to block. They'll hang up. So it is hard. And and it's I won't say the devil, but the way it fits in your hand, the little pad in your hand. I mean, you could cut your hand off. It would find it in the bed. It would walk around until it found the phone. So your body's just remembering that thing. That's how much whatever you get from it. It's become an extension. That's so. Putting your phone away. My friend Dusty, my life partner Dusty, is looking at, she's going to a retreat and they're going to be juicing and having high colonics and doing meditation. And she goes, and I don't want you there because that look that you had in your eyes would be the same one in my eyes. But on the other hand, I go, well, that might be the thing I need to do. Maybe I just need to cleanse and, just be on a beach and all that. So that's my plan for El Salvador in July. I'm going to go in January, but the pelicans come in, you feed them fish, baby turtles that are back in the sea.
That's it. Simple.
Yeah, it's just simple.
Simple. I like it. There was something you said that I really liked. That you like in my garage and you're like, I don't need all this stuff. I think that's a very, very, because I think, and even in this season too, we were moving place, and I'm looking at this stuff. I'm like, when we had to go, all we needed was really, like, I know this sounds silly, but we only need one mug to drink coffee. Mm-hmm. You don't even need a whole 12 set. You just need literally one mug. You can wash it again and use the same coffee mug. And just that simple living, I think, is very important. That minimal, it gives you perspective on what really matters. And
when I bring the things into Goodwill, the man comes in and says, oh, you're bringing me more treasures. Those coffee cups, you had 50 of them, and they went the next day. You had such a great, I can only drink one cup of coffee, for heaven's sake. So,
it's literally.
So, we need less stuff, but we need to, share and give. Really. So, if we've been fortunate and can do so.
Yeah, I like that you share that with the younger generation, managing their time wisely, Would you have any other things you would give them, the younger generation, to advise to use their time wisely?
I have every year I bring on somebody who didn't quite make it into medical school or in nursing school, and they spend a year with me, and their grades may have been 3.4, whatever, but they become very interesting people because I can model for them, and they can learn to move out of themselves, to think about others. It's not just about the grades. It's about how can I improve someone's health care? How can I look at their health-related social needs and work on those? Because that's more important than the drugs for the most part. Right. We do a lot of laughter yoga. We do box breathing. We just teach people how to get back in touch with their bodies.
Oh, that makes a lot of sense. First, I want to say proud of you for doing that. Thank you for doing that. That's always amazing. And that's why we bring you, because I love what you're doing with the younger generation already as well. So let's pivot. What do you think, how do you focus on a time well spent, to contribute to leaving a lasting legacy?
Yeah, well, when I first came to Ventura, they had me in the basement of the hospital. I had 2 exam rooms, dead fish floating in the tank in the morning, old men sitting next to my kids. They'd bring the morgue was next by, so they bring dead bodies by while I'm looking and somebody's here. And they're supposed to build a 5-room clinic behind the hospital for me. And, oh, no, there's an earthquake fault. We can't do that. We can't afford it. I go, what the heck? So I may have used some other words, too. But I walked up and down the street and across the street was a dentist's office. And so I go, okay, I'm leasing this dentist's office. I'm going to take out a construction loan, change my relationship into a public-private partnership with the county.
Wow.
And in 5 years, I'll be done. Well, it took me 35 years to get it done. And so it puts me kind of at the farther end of my life than I expected to be. But the clinic is 16,000 square feet. We have an infusion center for kids with cancer. I've got endocrinologists for the diabetes problems and psychiatrists. I put in a dental office and eyeglasses made by prisoners. We have a Ronald McDonald Family Living Center that took me 33 years to get everybody persuaded that people needed time away from their kids if they're in the hospital. It's like being a volcano. It's just so intense in that room, and the nurses coming in and the beeps and the clicks, and they needed a safe place to go. And so we were able to do that. And a pediatric attendant. So, but building all that took a lot of time. A lot of people, and a lot of economic ups and downs, a lot of changes in presidential administrations. But having the long view, my first wife, who unfortunately died in her early 60s, was a recreation therapist. Well, she would, this is 40, 50 years ago, children with cancer did not survive. And so she'd have a 10-year-old and she'd go, "Oh, Stacy, what would you like at your funeral? How do you want your funeral to go?" And this one person, I hadn't dated this woman, but we had a connection. So Stacy said, "Oh, I'd like to be buried in one of Elvis Presley's scarves." So my wife-to-be, not knowing her yet, was Michelle. She called RCA Victor in New York, and New York said, "Well, the only person who could possibly make that happen is Chris Landon in Hollywood, California." That's my dad. This is 2 years before I meet her. She calls him up, and he says, "Sure, I'll get you the scarves. The nurse is going to want a cake, and we'll get them some roses, and call me back in 2 hours." And boom. The scarves arrived, the cake arrived, the roses arrived, and he says, "Okay, I want Stacy by the phone at 6 o'clock." And Michelle, my wife, the phone rings. Back in the days, push button phones.
I remember those black and
there's a voice on the phone, and my Michelle, my wife to be, thought it was my father trying to sound like Elvis, and it was Elvis Presley.
Wow,
who was talking to that little 10-year-old girl. And spending his 30 minutes with her at the end of her life. So I go, okay, I got to marry this woman. So that's what she brought. But I think she ended up with a lot of pain from all those children, and didn't know how to get rid of it entirely. Lost a part of her life.
Are there any regrets or lessons about time that you'd like others to learn from your journey?
Things are. One, I would talk to older people and who have given up so many things that are really unnecessary. They seem so important at the time. And so I think that really listening to the older generation and spending time with family. Family is important. My daughter's very important. I'm going to go see her for Thanksgiving and see my Michelle, my wife who passed brother, and we're going to have Thanksgiving together and share memories.
You have a favorite Thanksgiving dish?
Thanksgiving dish. My mother would make yeast rolls.
I never had. Oh, okay. Kind of similar.
Brewer's yeast, are kind of yellowish, really buttery, and the like. So they were good. And your favorite? Sorry, I haven't dominated my conversation.
No. I'm interviewing. I'm learning. I'm learning. My favorite is, I would say, the combination of it's like you have to put it together. You have to take a scoop, and it has all of it. So it has to be the turkey, the stuffing. My mom makes an amazing sausage stuffing. My wife makes an amazing turkey. She does it like Gordon Ramsay style. And then sweet candied yams.
Okay.
And then you go. That's the combo. Those three. Stuffing, candied yams, turkey. We're off.
Well, let's see, and I think when we're all uploaded, I don't know how long this planet can last. I think we may all end up in the cloud. We can imagine all those things too. I mean, my friend Dusty is very much a vegetarian, very much clean food. Right. And she'll be imagine eating a cheeseburger and be able to look through the wrapper, it's so greasy. Yeah. And I'll be able to imagine eating kale without wanting to mix a little coconut and water and put it down the garbage disposal. So, you'll be able to have that turkey for you forever.
Yeah,
It doesn't have to be a physical thing.
Yeah, it's just you always remember exactly. You always remember the times when you first had it, the first time you tried it. Things like that. How do you ensure the time spent with family?
Yeah, that's we're talking about regrets, and that that getting that balance between work and play and spirituality is not easy. So I wasn't very good at taking vacations. I think vacations are a good time to spend together.
You feel like once or twice a year. Like what's a good
number?
3 days, 4 days?
I live in a vacation kind of village already, so I worked 2.5 days a week. So the rest of the time I'm vacationing. I'm going down. But the time that my wife and daughter, I bought them a Volkswagen a camper van, and they would go camping. Wow. And after my wife passed, my daughters bought one, and so I still have the car that we had in 2005 with my dog and my wife, and we went up to Idaho and Montana and drove around. So when I sit in that car, I'm sitting with them.
That's amazing.
It's like, you don't have a Mercedes, Dr. Landon? No, I have a 2005 Chrysler 300, but the people who live in there with me are very close to my heart.
Right. And that's amazing. You just kind of made me think of something that I feel like I need to do. There's a car I need to get rid of.
Yeah, well, I know. We can do that right now if you want to.
But do you think nowadays people are more focused on the productivity instead of the present?
It's this whole working from home.
Because of COVID now.
Yeah, because of COVID. And now, they're trying to get them back in offices because you got a lot of empty office buildings out there.
Yeah.
When I do international stuff, and so my friends in Germany will be working on a project, and then they'll be gone for 6 weeks. I go, this is America. We went skiing, Dr. Landon. We went skiing, the ski loft. What the heck? We're working on this, putting Bluetooth into this device so my kids, I'll know whether they're using it or not, or they'll send me an email and I'll respond 2 minutes later. You did not take a month to respond to it. But no, it doesn't take a month to respond. So how people perceive time and work and productivity, Americans are different than the rest of the world.
Wow. What is one thing you've noticed? And like when you say that, that's because I think I think we should touch on that a little more. What is like the biggest difference you see with Americans opposed to outside?
Well, there's the boats and the RVs. So, we think, have you ever owned a boat? Yeah. So the best day is the first day you buy it, and then the day you sell it. Yeah. We're very, working for things. Yeah. And so working for, as part of our, so Buddhist middle way is, working with others, learning new things, and leading a comfortable existence. That's fine. You don't have to have a beggar bowl. You don't have to live in a palace, but you should work with others and learn new things.
Amazing.
And lead a comfortable existence.
And we'll round up with these last two questions. So if you can summarize your wisdom about time in one sentence, what would it be?
One sentence. Don't waste it.
That's brilliant. Don't waste it. Looking back, what brings you the most peace of how you spent your life?
Taking care of children.
Wow.
Yes.
Very profound.
Yeah.
Profound. So that's the show. Thank you, listeners, for joining. Like I said, on Instagram, we are Presidential Podcast, and on X, which is also known as Twitter, we're Presidential PDC. We're also on YouTube on my YouTube channel, Bless Branco. And, you can find more information there on the podcast. We'll be uploading it, and we want to encourage you to subscribe, and to follow all of our channels for more refreshing, impactful, inspiring podcasts like these. God bless you. We love you all, and we'll see you on the next episode.
All right. Wow. Good.
Thank you so much.
Say cheese. Dad knew I was heaven sent. God